Myth. Debt is a tool. It should be used to create prosperity. The truth is the borrower is slave to the lender. And you know, when I ran into this, and I really started to grasp it, it was hard for me because I got to thinking about it. Who was it taught me to borrow money? This was my college finance professor who was broke. What's wrong with that picture? A broke finance professor is like a shop teacher with missing fingers. So I have a rule. I don't take financial advice from broke people anymore. I want to do what rich people are doing. I get to be rich people. Whatever the broke people are doing, I can love them, I like them, I don't want them to help them be rich people. But I don't want to do what they're doing. If I want to be skinny, I'm not going to eat what fat people are eating. This is not hard, is it? You have to think about these things. If you want a marriage, don't go to some guy who's been married 16 times and wrote a book. Find some old couple walking along like this, been married 62 years, and she's holding him up. Find out how he did that. That's worth knowing. Take that guy to lunch. He's got some wisdom. Find winners and mimic what they're doing to win. That's how we become rich. That's how this works. And so when you look at it, you know what the Forbes 400 is? The Forbes 400 is the 400 wealthiest people in North America today. The Forbes 400 were surveyed. They asked the 400 wealthiest people in North America today. Not your broke brother-in-law. Not your beer-drinking buddy with an opinion. They asked the 400 richest people in North America, what's the most important key to building wealth? I mean, inquiring minds want to know this. You know, think about it. What they said was 75% of those replied that the number one way to become wealthy was to stay debt-free. It's the number one key to wealth building. And here's why. Your largest wealth building tool is your income. And when it's not all going out the door with someone else's name on it, you have it to do things like investing. It's your biggest deal. You take an old car payment, you take an old credit card payment, you get rid of a student loan that's been around so long you think it's a pet, and you take those payments and start putting those things into a mutual fund, you end up with money. It is the muscle of your wealth building plan, your income. But when you're handcuffed because it all has someone else's name on it, you're a slave to the lender. Myth, debt is a tool. Truth, the borrower is slave to the lender. Because when you don't have any payments, you have money. It is a life-changing, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually scarring experience. It is one of the 10 worst things that can happen to you, probably one of the 5 worst things that can happen to you. It's devastating to go through it. The shame, the guilt, the sense of failure, the loss of self-esteem. It's something you definitely want to avoid. Hey folks, you're listening to the Dave Ramsey Show, where we give you the same financial advice your grandmother would, only we keep our teeth in. Up next is, looks like it's Allison calling. Allison is calling from Seattle, Washington. Hi Allison, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey Dave, I'm in high school and my parents seem really stressed about money and debt. I know they're my parents, but I really want to help. I think they're finding it difficult to know where to begin to fix the situation.
Well, it's sweet for you want to help them, and always when someone that we love is under stress or scared or freaked out, we always want to try to help them if we can. Keep in mind, you're the kid, they're the parent. It's their job to fix their life. You're not supposed to carry the burden of this household. If you want to do something practical, you could just share some of the class materials. If you're in one of the foundations class, you might have one of the textbooks or something you could use, or you could pick up a Total Money Makeover book off our website or your local bookstore and hand to them and just say, hey, these are the things I'm learning in my high school class. You could share with them that way. But don't go in and say, hey, Mom and Dad, I figured out all the stupid things you've been doing because I went to class in high school. That will not play well, dude. Don't go there. Mom and Dad will not be thrilled with you. So you go in there with humility and just go, I know you guys are scared, and I see the tension in the house, and I don't know if it will help, but I learned a couple of things in my class, or I heard this guy on the radio, and it might help. I don't know. I'm just trying to help, and if I can be of help some way, let me know. And then just give them the information or connect them up somehow with our materials. I don't want you to feel like you need to take responsibility for bringing in an income to fix this, or that you need to take emotional or spiritual responsibility for the headship of this household. That's not on you. That's not your job when you're in high school. That's Mom and Dad's job. And they'll get through this. I've been through it. I got through it. My kids survived. You'll survive. And, there may be a few bumps in the road. There may be a few bruises, but they'll get through it. And the trick for them is to learn something from the pain that they're going through. And maybe by you just sharing a little bit of information or a location of some information, that might be of help to them. I'm sorry you guys are going through this, Allison, but I can promise you this, if they learn from it, it might end up being the best time of their life. I mean, I can honestly say in a weird kind of way, going broke was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It sounds kind of weird, but because it taught me lessons that changed my life in a positive way. And so if they use this experience as a teaching tool, and then they don't repeat the same mistakes, then this could end up being a really good thing for them to have this stress, because it's their wake-up call. So, again, I don't want you to feel the burden that you have to lift it, but maybe a way is just to connect them with some information. So, hey, Allison, thanks for calling in. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Remember, once you graduate high school, you are walking around with a big target on your back. Credit card companies are after you. Statistics show that if they can be the first one to get their card in your hand, you'll be brand loyal to them for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter if you have a job or if you can actually pay your balance off each month. They know they're going to make tons of money off of you in the form of interest. And I'm telling you that you can be a student without a student loan. You can totally avoid credit cards and car payments through college and forever after. You really can. But it's going to take some sacrifices. Having no debt is one of the most freeing feelings you can experience. You'll have nothing to hold you back from going after your dreams. That's why the second foundation is all about getting out and staying out of debt.
Think about it. How much could you save, invest, blow, and give if you had absolutely no payments? But you know why people why they don't get out of debt? Is because they've lost their hope. That's why they don't get out of debt. They don't really believe that they can be debt-free. That's why they don't get out of debt. It's kind of like when I was growing up, my parents, we moved from the suburbs out to the country. Well, about the time I took off for college is actually when that happened. Now, out in the country in our area, it was like 5 acres. It wasn't like 50,000 acres, okay? But my dad, my little sister got involved in the rodeo over at the high school, in the rodeo club, and she was riding a horse around the barrels for a time. Have you ever seen that? Say yes. Yes. And they bought her a quarter horse to ride the barrels. His name was Bubba. And then they got tired of riding around the barrels, and they decided they were going to enter another event. And that event was kind of like the guys have in rodeo. The guys have an event in rodeo called calf roping. And if you've seen calf roping on ESPN, or if you've ever been to the rodeo or something like that, the cowboy's sitting in the saddle, the calf is released, they ride out after the calf, the lasso goes around the calf, and the horse is taught to stop and start backing up, cowboy ties off, jumps from the horse, runs his hand along the line, calf is running, has no idea, slack's running out. About the time the slack runs out, that head pops, cowboy uses that backward momentum, flips that calf upside down, ties his feet together, and holds his hands up for a time. Have you seen that event? Say yes. Yes. Well, the girls have a similar event, only they don't flip and rope calves because they're too big, the calves are, so the girls flip and rope goats. Now, I know it sounds kind of funny, but they were real serious about it. Hat down over the eyes, serious about being a goat roper. I mean, it's a big deal. Goat roping is a real sport. I mean, they were real serious about it. So we had to buy her a goat to practice on. And since we were going to practice on him, we named him Practice the Goat. And so what happened in the Tennessee summer heat with the humidity standing in the field about this tall, I saw them out there with the goat. They grabbed old Practice by the ears. They gave him a little boot because she's on the horse ready to go after him, right? And he's running out through there. He's going, man, this is great. I'm not a goat. I'm a gazelle. I am gone, baby. About that time, the rope goes around his neck. He has no idea. She ties off. Bubba starts backing up. She runs from Bubba down that line. That backward momentum, that slack runs out. She grabs that goat, flips him upside down, ties his little feet together. He says, what happened? I thought I was a gazelle. I must be a goat. I got to tell you the truth. They did that to that goat 15, 20 times a day, all summer long. To the point that where they would flip in time, they wore the grass off and there was a bare spot. Now, if you've ever been around goats, they're not real smart. But eventually, old Practice began to catch on. I saw him finally. He's running out through there. He saw that bare spot and he went, stop, pain right here. He finally got where he'd run out there, stop and lay down. We told her if we could get him to tie his own feet together, she could win every event. You know what happened to old Practice? Old Practice lost his hope, didn't he? He got beat up one too many times, and he just quit. He just went out there and laid down. It's kind of a funny story, but really, when you think about it in perspective of our lives, it's kind of sad. Because I meet people and they run out there and they lay down, don't they? Say, oh, you're always going to have a car payment. Little man just can't get ahead. Just forget it, you can't make it. In the greatest land the world has ever known. Plus, Practice had to go back to the goat pen, didn't he? And the other goats are going, you're not going to make it. That's just the way it is. Take it easy, man. Don't work while you're at work. Don't try to be a winner. Mediocrity, we're just goats, man. Just take it. Just go out there and lay down. That's just how it is. You're always going to have a car payment. You can't be a student without a loan. You can't have a master without a card. That's the way it is, Practice. Get over it. I got to tell you, though, I'm the goat that got away. I'm over here the other side of the bare spot. It's not really a bare spot. It's more like a mountain of dead, isn't it? And I've got lights over here and radios playing. Music playing, we're throwing ropes across, shining, sending the internet over there. And we're doing all this stuff, and we hear people climbing up the other side, boom, 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 boom. We hear them on the other side of that wall. They call in, they're screaming, how do I do this, Dave? What do I do, man? I'm trying it. Man, I'm doing this stuff, I'm kicking it. And see that head pop up occasionally, and occasionally one of them will drop off over here, and they call in on our talk radio show, and they tell us, Dave, I make $62,000 a year, but Dave, I've been busting it, I've been killing it. I mean, I've done everything you said to do. It's been hard, but man,